Hi, this is Dr. Anthony Revels with Watch Me Work It. In this particular one, I'm going to do some conversions, dimensional analysis. All right. And you're just going to hang out with me for a few minutes and watch me work the problem. Here we go. All right. Let's convert 4.5 feet to inches. The question might read, how many inches are in 4.5 feet? So I'm going to start with making a note out here on what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for inches. This is my personal note here off to the side of my paper. Keep an eye on it. So my given, I always write my primary given 4.5 feet. And as soon as I write that, I draw a times bar and I put feet on the bottom because I see feet here without even thinking about it, trying to figure it out or anything. And I happen to know that I can take feet to inches directly because 1 foot equals 12 inches. If I happen to know the conversion factor, I'm in good shape. And this number comes out to 54 inches. And that's a good number because my original given has two sig figs in it. So my answer better have two sig figs, 1, 2. I count them. I square in that. That's my final answer. Well, this next one, convert 4.5 feet to centimeters. I'm going to write this way out here to the side so I can keep an eye on it. My primary given is 4.5 feet. So I automatically write times bar here and put feet on the bottom. Why I see feet here, I put feet here. And I happen to know I could take feet. I don't know feet to centimeters, but do know feet to inches. And so as soon as I write that inches, I'm going to times bar here. And I do know I can take inches to centimeters. These conversion factors have to have things that are on standard tables or something that's standard and well known to everybody. Not something you Google and get an answer from. Sometimes you get weird answers. So 1 foot is 12 inches, although you could Google a standard conversion table. So here we have inches to centimeters is 1 to 2.54. If I punch this through on my calculator is going to give me a lot more digits than I want to report. I get here, I know my starting one again is 2 sig figs. So since that's 2 sig figs, this answer has been 2 sig figs. So I'm going to round this off to where it would be 2 sig figs. This is one place, two place, turn and count sig figs because I have a decimal, so I'll count from the left. 1, 2, so it's got to round off to that place. That's got to be 140. No decimals behind it because I'll change the number of sig figs. And the answer should be in centimeters. You want to always write your units when you do these. Okay, so there you go. So let's do this other one here. 50 years into seconds. I'm going to write seconds right out here. So that's just for my own personal notes. You don't have to write that. What I do is I keep an eye on where I'm going in case I get confused. So here I'm going to start with 50 years. I'm going to abbreviate like that. And so I'm automatically going to be times bar years on the bottom because I see years here automatically. Now, I don't know how many years in a second, but I do know that I could take years to days. I just write days. It's DYS, just have it. And I know then I have to take times bar. So they have days here. I have to put days here. And I don't know days to seconds either. So I can go days um, to hours. Yeah, I know hours. So I can go hours. So I can go times bar here. And I can go hours. And I could go directly to seconds, but I don't just happen to know that. Some people just walk around memorizing that kind of stuff. I don't. But I do know hour into minutes. So then I can take minutes to seconds because I know that conversion. And so I check these, that matches that, cross like that, always a crossbar, and we're good to go there. So years, 365 days in 1 year, and 1 day is 24 hours, and 1 hour, 60 minutes, and 60 seconds is 1 minute. Let's say 60 minutes in 1 hour. Yes. All right. So if you punch these numbers through on your calculator, uh, what you will get is uh, 4438 comma 000. Punch through your calculator. I only have, by the way, one sig fig. Now, people like to debate this whether this 50 years is the exact number because they're in years. If that be the case, then you're okay reporting this. But if someone gets really picky on you and say this is only one sig fig, then you'll have to report this as one sig fig, which would be this number. So this is reported to one sig fig, and this if you assume that 50 years is exact numbers. With years are typically considered to be, exact numbers unless you start to do some of the calculation. Let's do another one here. Traveling at 60 miles an hour, how many minutes will it take to drive 125 miles to San Diego? When people see this, they want to figure out what's the given. Well, let me tell you, when you see something that says miles per hour or this in that, don't use that as your given. use the 125 miles. So that's your best given. That's your primary given at 125 miles, okay? So you have 125 miles. That's what you're going to do. This is a standard. If you suspect that is a standard conversion factor, don't start with it. I want to warn you again, you can do that, but it tends to be a little bit more challenging. If you start with this as your given, you have miles. As soon as I see miles, I'm going to crossbar and put miles on the bottom. That's automatic. I don't have to think about it because I see it. So then I look at my problem, see if I have any relationship between miles and something that I'm after. And I know I'm after minutes. So I'm going to write minutes out here. So miles, miles will go to hours because I see that as a standard in my problem. Therefore, and I already know I can take hours to minutes. I've heard of that somewhere in my life. So miles here. So this miles per hour, miles hour. So I go 65 miles every 1 hour. 1 hour is 60 minutes. And I should be able to punch that through on my calculator and get an answer. The calculator, if I punch it through, gives me 115.384 and some other digits. Well, how many sig figs am I given? This, you never use a conversion factor, never. No, for determining sig figs. Sig figs are based on my primary given, which is why I always write it first. This has 3 sig figs. So I have to round this answer 3 sig figs. 3 would be rounded up to here. And therefore, I simply rounded that. That'd be 115 minutes for this answer. Okay? And that's it to the proper number of significant figures. All right, here's another one. Traveling at 65 miles per hour. How many feet can you travel? Let me write that out here. I'm going to be looking for feet at some point. In 22 minutes. That's my given. This is a standard. This is a rate. So the way I know that is I see this big per. When I see this per, I don't write it as my given. This is my given, 22 minutes, because it's a standalone unit. When it's a standalone unit, you have a better chance of being successful. So 22 minutes times that, the minutes goes automatically on the bottom. Why? I see it. I don't think it. I see it. Minutes. And so what do I see? Minutes. Boy, I don't see anything that can go minutes, but I know I can go minutes to hours because that'll get me going. And what am I doing? Oh, there we go. So that'll work. One conversion. So I have hours here. When I said, what am I doing? I was checking this to make sure I'm after the right target. So here we have hour. So as soon as I see it, I put hour here. And now I see something, look back at my problem. I see hour can go to miles. Now I'm headed toward feet, right? Because now I know the miles will go directly to feet because someone gave it to me already. Okay. Now, for some, they like to write this whole path before they go. If you start with the given and just trust that your crossbars are right, you'll never miss it. Miles an hour. Oh, I see that. That's in my problem. 65 to every 1. Oops. 65 here. Let me erase that. Don't be too quick. Don't make a typo like that. Okay, make sure you put it in the right way. If you make a mistake in these, sometimes that's exactly what you did, just speed. Haha. 65 miles per 1 hour. Hour to minutes, 60 minutes every 1 hour. And if I punch this through on my calculator, let's see, punch this through on my calculator, I get 125, 840. That's too many numbers because I only have what, 2 sig figs in my original answer. Therefore, to 2 sig figs, I've got to stop right here at that point. That's my 2 sig fig point. Therefore, my final answer is going to be 130,00. I just use the zeros to round it off. I know my rules of sig figs, and that works. Okay. All right, let's do another one here. Winnipeg is refilling the pool. How many gallons of water will it take if the pool is 50 by 25 by 1.5, all meters? Okay, so with this one, our given is right here. But that's a sneaky given, isn't it? That's a volume. So we have to do, we could do a couple of things here. One is we could calculate out that volume all by itself, okay? And we can do this. So let's pretend we have this and we're going to get this as a given. So we're going to go ahead and multiply these numbers through. This is one way to do it. There are a couple of ways to go about it. We're going to go ahead and multiply these numbers through though. since that's my given. I want to know what my given exactly looks like before I get going here. And when I punch this through the calculator, I get 1,875 meter cubed. Now, this should only have one sig fig, but since it's going to be used in the next step, don't stop at sig figs here, because this is an intermediate calculation. Never stop at sig figs for intermediate calculation. Don't stop for sig figs, okay? Don't do that. No. All right, so we're going to take this number, we're going to carry it through in our calculation. So this now is my given in meter cubed. And I'm going to be out here looking for what? How many gallons? So I'm going to write gallons out here. Just keep an eye on it. That helps me stay focused. It really does. So then I'm going to take my given. I write it 1,875 meter cubed. Never forget your units. And what do? Automatically, without thinking about it, I'm going to put meter cube on the bottom. And when I do that, I'm going to go directly to, what can I go to here? Liters, because I see it. I just look around here, look until you see it, or looking up liters. So that'll work. So as soon as I put liter here, guess what? Automatic crossbar liter goes here. Automatic without thinking. And what can I take liters to? Ooh, I can take liters to gallons right here. And that's what I'm looking for. So now I go back, put these in meter cube. I have 1 to 1,000. Someone gave me that, or I looked it up on table, or I memorized entire conversion factors from all around the world. Liters, I have 1 gallon, one gallon to that number of liters. Make sure you put those in the right place. If you get them in the wrong place, your number will look kind of screwy and you'll be wondering why. And this is a common mistake, actually, to just write these in the wrong place. That's simple. When you do that, don't sweat it. You just made a mistake. Go back, erase it, start, and do it again. So if I punch this through, I get 495, comma, 245, decimal 641 on my calculator. Now, I now have to determine my significant figures, and this is where it gets really kind of hairy. 2 approaches you want to consider. One is it goes back to what your original sig figs. And in this case, your original sig figs only has the lowest number of sig figs is 1 sig fig right here. And so with that sig fig, then I would, and by the way, yeah, that was my dog in the background. So here I would round that to 500, 000 for the 1 sig fig. However, someone's going to say, well, wait a minute, I did an intermediate calculation. Well, you don't consider that intermediate calculation when you get here. This is your proper answer to the right number of significant figures. Okay, now that my dog's quiet, I think I can continue on. One more problem. How many grams of mercury are in 2.0 liters of mercury having a density of 13.5 grams per milliliter? You say, I have no idea what a density is. Well, it doesn't matter. This is a conversion. So I'm going to convert 2.5 milliliters. This is my given. Say, well, how do I know that's my given and the other one's not? You saw this big per, therefore not your given. This is a standard. When it's a standard, we use it as such. Call it a conversion factor. People say, well, I need to figure out all my conversion factors. I don't do it that way. I start with my givens and go over to look for how many grams. So I'm looking for grams out here. So I'm going to keep an eye on that out there. And I'm starting with what? 2.0 milliliters. I'm going to write this ml. So I'm automatically going to put ml here because I see ml here. It's going to be ml here. And this is mil, and I see I can go directly gram because I see it in the problem somewhere, and I'm at grams already. And so the mil is 1, the mil unit, 1 mil, and 13.5. Okay, if I do that, I punch this number through, I get 27.2. And since I only need 2 sig figs from this, 2 sig figs right here, yep, 1, 2. I'm going to round this to 27 grams, and I'm going to square that in because that is my final answer. Where there you go with some watch me work it.